Welcome to the present moment. If that's a new reference to you, well, I would like to explain what I know thus far about the present moment. Now, I read a book by Eckhart Tolle, two books actually, called The Power of Now and A New Earth. And he talks a lot about the present moment and also what exists outside of the present moment, but in our minds. And the more I developed an understanding of the present moment, the more I started to make links and connections to how it works roughly. I'll share with you the best of my knowledge today. So, when we experience emotions like stress, we are often living in a place of fear for what is going to come in the future. I'm stressed that I might not get that job done at work today, or I'm stressed that I'm not going to have enough time to do the chores this evening because I've got to go to this and that, right? Stress for something in the future. Emotions like regret and guilt often come from something that has already happened, something in the past, something that we've already experienced, somewhere we've already been, yet we can still relive it in this present moment through the power of our mind. Very, very powerful tool. So, emotions like these take us away from the present moment. Sometimes we don't realize what triggers these certain emotions, whether it's stress for the future or depression, sadness from something that's happened in the past. We don't realize that what's causing them is not so much about the present moment and what our life's showing us now, but something that we believe in and something that has been a pattern that we operate by. I know for most of my life, operating under stress, it did serve me in some ways because it meant I got a lot of stuff done, but I was always living for what was coming, never keeping myself in the moment. In these books that Eckhart Tolle writes, and can even be found in the Bible too, talks about where all of the power is in life, where all of the creation is, where all of the love exists, the most love possible. And if creation is constantly creating, you know, the birds are constantly flying, the wind's blowing, the rain's always coming down if it's rainy, or the sun is shining, and that's continuously happening, right? That's where life is unfolding. And yet sometimes we don't truly live there because our mind has taken us to something in the future that's not happened, or it's stuck with something in the past that we are struggling to let go of. And I have definitely been there multiple times, so I understand. But when you are able to come into the present moment and realize that in my immediate environment, there's nothing to stress about, there's nothing to be anxious about, and there's nothing to regret that's already happened because what I see around me is all good. Sometimes that might not be the case. You know, you could be in a heightened environment, and then in that present moment, you'll act accordingly to what your environment is suggesting. But if you're in a calm place, you know, wherever that might be for you, and you're feeling those emotions, and you look around your environment and you see it's not there, well, there's only one place it can exist, and that's in our minds. Now, our minds is and our programming, our thoughts, our conditioning, something that's been there for most of our life for some of us, and we haven't even realized it. That was my experience anyway. I realized that I have had such this way of stressing about my environment, stressing about my life and what was to come, and I'd done that most of my life. And so I thought, okay, well, this is clearly a pattern that I've carried, and one that I don't have to carry anymore if I choose to. And that's a different journey working through those emotions. But as I slowly let go and I accepted and I gave myself love for the parts of me that were stressing of the future and worried, and the parts that regretted and were stuck in the past, I found it so much easier to come back to the present moment because there was no more conditioning, there was no more beliefs that were telling me you need to stress about the future. I was focused on what was right in front of me, and I still am. It's where I try to spend most of my time, is in this very moment. And since doing that, I've experienced more love. I've experienced more peace. I've experienced more gratitude. Because when you're able to be right here in this moment, you have a different awareness. You have a different understanding. You have a different outlook on the environment around you. And what changed for me is I realized it's actually not so bad. It's beautiful. And what I was worrying about back there, well, that's already been. A way that I was able to accept that was thinking about, well, all of the things in my life thus far have unfolded this way. Why? Because they did. Because they did. And I can't change that now. Some things in my life, like my mum's passing and like other family events, were a little bit harder to accept because they came with a lot more weight, a lot more suffering. And so it took a lot more time and attention into being able to fully leave those things in the past and come back here. And it was the same for the things I feared for the future. It takes work. It takes work. But what I want to show you today is that the things taking you away from this present moment, where the creation is happening, where all of the love exists at its most potent levels, is ourselves. It's those beliefs we carry. It's the way we've been conditioned to think and feel. And while even though most of us didn't get to choose what conditioning we walk through in this life, we can choose now whether we want to keep those beliefs and keep saying or repeating or living that same story. I promise you, you can change this because it has been my experience so far. And there's lots of tools out there and lots of ways to do so. Very soon, I hope to help as many as possible find their own way through their pain, because it's the most liberating thing I've done in my life so far. Through acceptance, compassion, forgiveness, and an intention to let go of what does not serve me and my highest good, or in simpler words, what doesn't align with love. Anything outside of love, I'm not really interested in. And that's not everyone. Again, if it resonates, great. If this is what you want for your life, then go for it. You can do it. It'll change your life for good. If it's not for you, doesn't resonate, do it how you want to do it, man. But I hope you can see the truth in what I'm saying today. Because if you are able to put the work in to letting go, accepting, and removing those beliefs that are taking you away from the present moment, your life will truly change forever. I promise. I promise. Only because I know this from my own experience and my life thus far. I really hope this one today finds who it's meant to and it starts that journey. Maybe you've been contemplating it for a few weeks, months, maybe years, but you've been scared because maybe you know the weight that's under the surface, the emotion that's under the surface, and you do have to feel that. All emotion demands to be felt. Feelings demand to be felt. That can be a bit scary. I get that. I've held myself back too. But if you can do it, wow, your life will never be the same. You'll experience more love, and that's a guarantee. Bold statements, but I really do believe in it to my core. And it's why I'm here speaking to you guys, starting to share my lessons in hopes to inspire some of you to be the change that you want to see in your life, because it all comes from you anyway. Thank you again for listening. Like, subscribe, comment what you like about it. I love to hear it. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you, and I love you.